Hi, everybody. So happy to see you all today. So happy to be outside today, too. Wow, such a gorgeous day here in Rhode Island. Yay. Today, we're going to talk about how to charge money, how to set your fee, and what to do about that. It can be a challenge for people to know how to do that. There's a lot of different options. Everyone seems like they do something different. How do we know? How do we not overcharge, undercharge? Where sort of like Goldilocks. There's just the right one. There's your sweet spot. So we're going to talk about how to find that today. And I wanted to really lead in with this about how do we get over any blocks we might have about charging at all. Is it okay to charge money? Sometimes we really um, have ideas or have learned that spiritual people don't charge money for what we're doing. We should do it for free. We should give it away. And there are definitely times when you can do some pro bono work, but you decide when and where to do that, and you do it with purpose. But I wanted to start by telling you a story about Yusui Sensei, the founder of Reiki and his clinics. He had many clinics in Tokyo. It was one of his students really who handled the the healing clinics, and Yusui Sensei didn't really start out um, trying to create a healing modality. He was a spiritual teacher and he taught spiritual practice, and found that this particular kinds of spiritual practices that he was teaching people opened up people's natural healing abilities and that they could be used to create healing. So um, one of his students opened clinics where they would do Reiki for people. And in the beginning, they did free clinics because they wanted to give back to the community. And you could go in there and have like a bunch of people do Reiki on you, or they would work with like your diet. So they kind of put you on a macrobiotic diet, and they would do like lots of Reiki, and they would teach you meditation and some exercises to help move energy. And what he found was that they really were having incredible results with Reiki, as we know can happen. But like 3 or 4 months would go by, and the same people would show back up in the clinic with the same issues, the same problems would reoccur. And then they decided they were going to charge money for the sessions. And what they found was that when they started charging money, people got better and they didn't come back, because there needs to be an energy exchange between the practitioner and the client. And I noticed the same thing too. Like sometimes when we give something away for free, it's not valued. People don't appreciate the value of it as much as they would do if they have to pay. And um, and that they found that when they started charging money and they figured out sort of the formula that I'm going to give you, that those people got better. They got better and they stayed better because they put some of their own energy into their healing. They had a little skin in the game, and our clients have to have some skin in the game in order for the healing to stick. So, and that being said, I think it's really fine to do some free work. I'll do free sessions for people and I try to do about sort of 10% pro bono work. I always have scholarships in my classes. If I'm teaching in Reiki, if I have 15 people in my class, then you can be guaranteed that 2 or 3 of them are there on scholarships. Um, because I really feel like it's important to give back to people. And there are times in my life when I had no money. I was a single mom for so much of my life, struggling financially, that I had people give to me, and I really needed it and appreciated it, and I pay that back, pay that forward, right? So we might decide you're going to do some free work for somebody if you want to. If they're a good source of professional referrals. So the professional referrals are people that are in complementary but not competing businesses as you, that you want to introduce to what your sessions are like. And it might be acupuncturists, chiropractors, hairdressers. I love hairdressers because they hairdressers love psychics. Of course, not all of them, but and think about how many people a hairdresser sees in the course of a week, and if they like you, they'll pass on your name, right? So there are times when we do that. I might do a free session for somebody, especially when I was starting out, in exchange for testimonial and referrals. Like that seems like it's like, yeah, I'm happy to do this for you, but please um, write a testimonial for me, or send me some people, because that is, again, like an energy exchange. If we do all free sessions without getting anything back from it, we burn out. That's basically what can happen. You burn out, you lose energy, and it's not good for you. Okay. The other thing that we need to look at on this issue is what is your internal level of feeling worthy? How worthy do you feel? Do you need to do some inner work to level up your feeling of self-worth, right? We might, this is a big thing for people, and people tend to charge lower than they think they do, than they think they should, because they don't feel worthy somehow. And I was been guilty of this, actually, my pretty much so much of my career, where I didn't feel like I was any good. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I would undercharge and overdeliver to make up for this. Like, ooh, I think I might actually not be good at this, or I don't feel worthy of having an abundant life, right? So we might need to work through any beliefs we have about money. This is a tricky one. We could teach a whole class on this. Like, do you have beliefs that you got from your family or from your growing up in any way that spiritual people don't charge money? Do you believe that money is the root of all evil? Do you believe that, money is filthy or dirty? Do you believe that good people are hardworking and unselfish? And think back to your family's beliefs about money. What did your parents say about money? What was the messages that you got around it? In my family, my dad made money, and my mom was a social worker, and she did volunteer work and community service. And so my dad had this, you work until you die, overwork, die in the saddle, like workaholic kind of thing, which I adopted quite a lot of that. And my mom had this, like, well, my work is really not for money, it's for helping people, you know. And I adopted some of that too. So I've had to break through those, like bring those beliefs into my consciousness, and really look at them and decide if that's what I want to do. And almost all of us have inside of our mind, this is so interesting, an amount of money we can have in the bank, have in our savings account, make per hour, that you are okay. And if you make over that, suddenly you're evil. Suddenly, like, it's okay to be middle class, but if you really have money, it's the devil, right? And you're a bad person. So there's this, like, inner thermostat, this level of financial well-being that we're allowed to have. And if we go over that level, like, say you're really only comfortable with $10,000 in your savings account, and if you go to $20,000 or $40,000, that will make you very uncomfortable in a very subconscious way, and you'll spend the money, lose the money, blow the money, give out the money. Like, it just disappears until it's back down to that. Okay, now $10,000, even though it's not really enough, even though you're really actually uncomfortable and that you actually need more, you kind of will reset back to that thermostat. And we need to do work in order to reset our thermostat. And that thermostat, it's super unconscious. It's super programmed. So think about that too. Like, what do you need to do on your inner plane in order to feel okay about having money, keeping money, making money? All right, so that's some of the underlying things. Let's talk really about, how do you set your fee? There's kind of a formula for this. And what I want you to do is some research in your area, in the town you live in the area. If you have an in-person practice, what is the market value for the services that you do at the experience level that you have? So there's a little bit of a difference if you're sort of brand new to Reiki, or if you've been doing Reiki for like a bunch of years, that's sort of in the middle, or if you've been doing it for over 20 years, we want to think about that. So as you do your research, find some people that are comparable to your skill level, your experience level in your area, and see what they're charging. I call this the market value. What's the market value? It's a little trickier if you're working online, and so many people are exclusively online right now, but you're basically going to do the same thing. What services do you provide? What's your level of experience? And what's the market value for that? Let's say let's say it's $100 an hour. That's market value. If you want to build clientele, then you charge a little below the market value. Maybe you charge 90, maybe you charge 85. If you want to build clientele. If you have enough clients, like you're fully happy and fully booked at the level that you want to be, you raise your fee to the market value. If you have a waiting list of over 3 months, you raise your fee you bump your fee up to the next level. And that's kind of how you can structure your fee in a way that's going to support your business. And I also think that it's when we're going to talk about how to get clients in one of the next video next week, like where if you have no clients, where do you even get any? But it's also really not a bad idea if you're trying to build your business to offer a new client special. So you might, let's say you the market value is 100, you set it at 80, 85. 85 is kind of good. And then you might offer a 10% discount off that to for new clients only. Like once they're an existing client, they're going to go back to your 85. That's a good way to kind of get people in the door if you're looking to expand your business. So there's also inside of our mind, you have to feel good about it. If 85, if the market value is 100, and at 85 you really feel sick, you really feel bad, you really feel like you're not honoring yourself, then you need to bump it up a little bit. There's kind of this inner feeling that I get that's like a little, like we need to be a little uncomfortable. Like it should be enough so that you're like, ooh, that's a little uncomfortable for me to ask that much, but not so much that you're taking yourself out of the game. Like we don't want to price yourself so high that you don't get any clients. Too high, you don't get any. Too low, you're going to feel bad about yourself and like you're sort of wasting your time, like you're kind of prostituting yourself in a way, and you're going to get resentful and have energy leaks if you do that. And right in the middle, there's a sweet spot. So the sweet spot's like how you feel inside of yourself, like you feel good about it. You feel like it's, like you're not wasting your time or feeling resentful. If you have a lot of resentment, you're overgiving, you're undercharging, or you're doing too much free stuff. So think about where your sweet spot is. And then it's just a feeling, that kind of goes with all the things we talked about. And then the other thing that I want you to do is practice saying your fee in the mirror. So a lot of times we're very uncomfortable opening our mouth and saying what it is. And there have been so many times in my life where I've been like, I'm sorry, my fee is so much. I feel really bad about it. Oh my God, like I apologize. And we don't want to do that. We want to be able to so go into the mirror, look yourself in the eye and say your fee. My fee is $85 an hour. And I want you to say it or my fee is $100 an hour. My fee is $200 an hour. My fee is $250 an hour, whatever it is. Okay. And you want to say it over and over until you can look in your own eye and say it with a smile, and where you don't feel like throwing up, basically, or like apologizing or cringing in some way. So that's the other thing to do. Practice saying what your fee is until you feel like it rolls off your tongue in an easy kind of way. And then really what you do is if you're in the sweet spot and you practice it, then you let people decide without an agenda whether you're totally worth it. Whether somebody can afford it, that's their decision. That's up to them. And we don't need to take it personally or take it as anything. I've had many people say they can't afford my fee. I've never had anyone say to me that they didn't think I was worth it. Right? And I want you to get to that place too. I want you to know that you're worth it. And just because somebody can't afford it or can't afford it right now, that's okay. Like that's their choice. That's also them. Now, that's inside of them. It's a legit choice for inside of them. And somebody asked me about sliding scales, and I'm a big fan of sliding scales. And I use them for years. So for a long time I had, it's 100 or 100. It's between 100 and 150, and you can choose where that is. And lots of people really appreciate a sliding scale. And some people, it makes them really uncomfortable. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I always like doing it because I like being able to serve my community. Not everyone can pay everything, so we can offer value to our communities by doing a sliding scale. And I've also had other people tell me that it makes them really uncomfortable, a sliding scale. They're like, tell me what the fee is. And they feel uncomfortable, like if they do to pick the low end of your scale, they feel uncomfortable by it, and they never quite choose the high end of the scale. They aim sort of for the middle and makes people feel wobbly. So I don't know. That's something you can consider. I really actually think if you can do it, it's a nice thing to do. And then the other thing to do is if you is to offer things for free, that group sessions, Reiki shares, ebooks, because everyone is going to benefit by getting something to know who you are and to feel your energy and to get a little bit of a sample of your gifts. It can be super helpful for you to have a variety of things. So, I have $25 free things, I have $25 things, I have $45 things, I have $100 things. Like I go all the way up, depending on what you need and how much you can afford. So I do think it's a really good practice to think about equity, like how can we make ourselves available to people who might need us, and that can also benefit us in other ways too. So there you go. If you have any questions about this thing, it's really an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people, and I want you to get to the place where it's not uncomfortable for you, and that could mean really finding your sweet spot and then also practicing. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll continue to talk about this until you get comfortable, because I really feel strongly that like my mission in life is to train healers, psychics, and empaths to fully be in their gifts. You guys know this about me. This is what I do. My goal in life is to train an army of healers, psychics, Reiki people, energy healers to go out and do what they want to do. And I've trained many, 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 many thousands of people in Reiki and energy medicine. And yet I know that's when I started teaching business development a couple of years ago, because I realized that training the skills was only half the problem, and that was only half the answer, really, because I had a lot of very talented healers that I knew were sitting home twiddling their thumbs because they couldn't figure out how to get clients. And if we can't figure out how to get clients, we're not fully there. That's why I started teaching business skills too, because it's the other part of the equation is you've got to learn how to open your mouth and say what you do, which we're going to talk about in a few weeks, get clients and know what to charge, so that the people who you are meant to help can find you. Right? That's the other part of the equation. So we're gonna keep talking about that side of things for the next couple of weeks. Anyway, hope that helps. Please put your comments in there. Let's keep talking about it. If you have any questions, I want to hear about them. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks. Bye.